Hello, this is Kelsey Moser of Yahoo Esports, and I'm here in the Yahoo Esports studio to talk to you today about Team Liquid's new roster. The first thing that jumps out to me when I think of this new roster is that Team Liquid are setting a very clear message that they want to play around one lane. And normally, you don't play around one lane unless you are SK Telecom and you have Faker. A lot of the reasons for this is that teams are really easy to figure out. You just camp your one lane, you shut down and nullify the threat, and then you're good to go. However, Riot Games, with the way that they've changed their game recently, and the way the patches have kind of altered to really favor the bottom lane, to put a lot of emphasis on getting that first bottom tier turret early, really signals that they want teams to play around the bottom lane. They want teams to win the 2v2. And games will snowball out of control. A lot of the ways that blue side advantages have come about have been through invading the enemy jungle and diving that first tier turret. So you had the 60% win rate of blue side in the World Championship group stage kind of playing around this bottom lane. So what do Team Liquid want to do with their new roster? Well, the reason why it looks like they want to play around bottom lane is because they have brought Piglet back on. And Piglet has always been very showy, very happy, and very straightforward about how he's very strong in the laning phase. And especially when he was playing with Matt, he talked about how he and Matt used to win scrims a lot in the bottom lane, things of this nature. That's why it seems to me that Team Liquid have decided, okay, we're going to go all in on this. Because when we talk about Lorlo wasn't necessarily going to be your proactive carry when we saw him in the LCS. Golden Glue doesn't necessarily have a lot of the high-level LCS experience. He's slightly known more for his Orianna, and again, the meta really favors pushing out that mid lane, not necessarily tunneling on the mid lane to carry. So instead, you also add Reignover to the roster. Reignover's history has been about kind of his creative jungling and his ability to farm really efficiently, to path really efficiently, to map out where he wants to be based on when the jungle camps will spawn and what lane he kind of wants to play around. He's also been very vocal, very upfront about maybe not necessarily having the best luck or the best track record with carry jungles, with jungles that are going to do damage and just win the game that way. Instead, he's picked a lane to play around. Huni, for example, has been his go-to for the past couple of years on Fnatic and Immortals. So instead, he might have to shift his focus towards the bottom lane, which, first of all, is a little bit difficult for junglers, but Reignover's intelligence in the NALCS signals that he should be able to make that happen. So we have what TL's plan appears to be, which is very straightforward, and playing around this bottom lane, getting Piglet ahead, maybe getting that first turret really early and snowballing the game from there, the way that the game seems to be set out right now. However, as time progresses for them, the questions are going to begin to mount. First of all, we know Riot likes to change their game, right? That's why the bottom lane is being a big emphasis right now. It didn't start out that way in 2015. So a new year doesn't necessarily signal that game is going to stay the same the entire time. Also, if teams start to tunnel vision on Piglet and try to shut down Piglet, then Team Liquid are going to have to try to find another answer. Either they're going to just hope that Piglet can continue to solo carry the game, but this hasn't always necessarily been the case for them. If we look at Team Liquid in the past, when Piglet has been on the roster, when Piglet has been on teams that have emphasized him a lot, he hasn't necessarily been able to keep this momentum going all the time or to adapt to every situation. For example, I brought up SKT earlier. Part of the reason why they're so effective playing around Faker is because a lot of what Faker does is have very strong timings in terms of where he is on the map in the mid game. He's very good at being able to match his enemy mid laner. He's also very good at being able to take first mid lane turret early and open up the map like that. That isn't necessarily always going to be the case when you're playing around someone else, and it doesn't work very well for other teams that only play around mid. It has a lot to do with individual understanding of SKT and how Faker in particular works. What this means is that Team Liquid is going to be able to have to adapt. a lot of this is going to fall onto Rainover and his ability to path intelligently, his ability to finally maybe change up his jungling. Immortals had a lot of criticism last year for maybe not putting their top laner or their jungler out of their comfort zone and making them pick things that were more suited to the meta, or that they could continue to play effectively on, or that letting the rest of the team step up. The question becomes for Team Liquid whether or not they can start to build from a bottom lane carry roster to a roster that extends those advantages to other lanes. Are they going to become a team that really develops their solo laners, their Lorlo and their Golden Glue? Is someone from these two positions going to be able to step up and carry the game when the game changes, or when playing around Piglet becomes too obvious? So for me, what we see is a team that was built for the new season, for the new patch, but hopefully also a team that can develop and can really raise these other talents, an investment team. And that's what we want to see from Team Liquid coming through in 2017. Thank you very much. If you like what you see, please make sure to check out Yahoo Esports for my coverage of the NALCS, EULCS, LPL, and LCK. Thank you.